Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Galen Snyder Show. I'm Vince Reed. We're brought to you in part by Aria Health, our friends and neighbors here in Lower Bucks County, ready to take care of you in the time of need. Also, of course, by the Continental Tavern. The Continental Tavern in the heart of Yardley, and boy, that's got a lot of history going for it, 150th year this year. Not only that, but they've really fixed up. Frank has done a great job inside and out, and now they also have that outdoor seating as well on the porch, when you can look over the nice rustic town there of Yardley. And also, of course, we're going to be brought to you by the PRBL, the Pennsbury Basketball Recreation League. And they're getting ready, of course, to get any kids from, when you take a look at it, let's see what they have down there, anybody from the ages of kindergarten right on through to 12th grade. So you can start them off young. And a lot of these guys that end up playing for, especially Pennsbury, wind up being from the PRBL. We're going to talk to Coach Snyder here about the upcoming ball game, but first we'll go back, and of course the first thing we'll do is take a look back at that first game of the year. And when you take a look at both teams, Pennsbury and Central Bucks Council Rock South, you realize that both of them had a little bit of those first night jitters. They made some mistakes that you probably won't be seeing often throughout the course of the season. But Coach, as you know, with your ball club and a lot of clubs that it happens to, there are others that happen to this week as well, is the fact that that usually happens in that early game, that first ball game of the year.
Yeah, for us it definitely does. You know, we've been in that position many years. I would say last year we had to play a clean first half, and then it happened in the second half. But you know, it's been the case with us for a lot of years. So I was hoping to avoid it this year, but you know, apparently there's no avoiding it.
Yeah, those things, you know, there's just things that happen. When you take a look at it as your first game, and you know the things you got to change, what are the things in there that were positive for you in that ball game?
Well, I thought we played physical on both sides of the ball. You know, I thought at times our run blocking was, you know, our guys came off the ball well, were physical. Defensively, you know, we were able to stiffen up and you know, down by the goal line and make plays that were going to get into the end zone. So there's definitely a lot. There were more positives, and of course, getting a win is always, you know, the biggest positive. But there were more positives when you look at it than negatives. And there's things we still have to clean up, plenty of stuff. And you know, it might take us a week or two to get it all straightened out, but we'll get there.
Well, of course, you had a goal line stand at the end of the first half that prevented them from getting a score. And then, of course, another goal line stand at the end of the ball game itself, which prevented them from maybe tying the ball game or maybe trying to go for two and trying to win it since they were the road team. But I mentioned in that first one, you know, when they stopped them, I said, do you remember Coatesville? Because that's what it looked like. Yeah. All of a sudden, there it is, back again, and you did the job again.
It did. Yeah, that was nice. That was nice to have that happen. You know, we put out some of the big bodies, and you know, they clog up a little bit more space, and then, you know, freeze it up for the inside, outside linebackers and such to go make the plays. So that was good.
Yeah, I think one of the things that showed, certainly, and to get down to the nitty-gritty, maybe it wasn't really, you know, a game for either team where they were doing everything that they wanted, but I think when it came up to those big plays at the end of each half, that's where your team showed what they're made of.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I mean, I thought Rock South, you know, they're in a position, they have a good team this year.
Oh, yeah.
But they also have guys who've been playing, a lot of those guys have been playing since they were sophomores. Their offense is almost, other than Alimenti, they're all back. And so they were kind of like executing, I would say, in like mid-season form, whereas we were struggling. And it's funny because we had I guess what we had, like 5 drop changes.
Yeah, and you end up with recovering 4.
Right, and you know, we had a fumble, interception, but
right.
You know, Rock South, I remember, you know, they were talking about they had some turnovers too, but see, the thing was, you know, those types of turnovers they had, you're gonna, I mean, it doesn't matter, you're gonna have them in that style of offense.
Yeah.
You know, when you're running triple option and pitching, if the defense is putting pressure on you, that's just gonna happen. That's the nature of that offense. You're gonna have to live with that. Ours was different. Our turnovers are things that won't happen once we get it straightened out.
Yeah.
So I would put both of them in different categories. And like I said with Rock South, they're a good team, and they're also executing, you know, right now, just like mid-season form. We're not there yet, but like I said, it was fortunate we were able to get the win, and
course, you mentioned, of course, your turnovers were the snap of the ball from the center to the quarterback didn't happen in the scrimmages. Of course, first game there for their center this year, and I'm sure that'll be rectified, no problem whatsoever. We're going to be back with more coming your way here with the Galen Snyder Show right after these messages.
The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City and South Jersey. And our 50,000 square foot location on ARIA Health's Bucks campus in Langhorne features private rooms, free parking, and nearby hotels. With over a century of experience, the world-class 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For all your orthopedic needs, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
If you are looking for a car, where do you go? Faulkner Auto Group at 4427 Street Road in Trevose is where to go. For the best deals in Bucks County for all your new pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs, go to Faulkner Auto Group. It's always Faulkner, to be sure. Go online to faulknerautogroup.com. Just remember, it's Faulkner, to be sure, for all your new cars or trucks. 4427 Street Road in Trevose. Faulkner, to be sure.
And we're back again with the Galen Snyder Show. One of our sponsors here on the show is Continental Tavern, located in the heart of Yardley for you there. And the Continental Tavern's been around to celebrate now their 150th anniversary. You take a look inside and see all the things that Frank, as a matter of fact, even uncovered when he was remodeling the place a little bit here just recently. And the thing is, you look at the artifacts that are there from years gone by, gives you an idea exactly what that building might have been like years ago for those people. And now you look at it now for the current crop, you take a look at the people go in there now, they jam it, and for rightly so, they come in there because they have good food, nice atmosphere, very friendly personnel to work with there, the Continental Tavern. And not only that, don't forget every Pennsbury game, and they're all Friday nights, and we get underway at 7 o'clock with the kickoff. From 7 o'clock till the end, they will be TVing because we'll have it streamed live, so they'll be on all the TVs over the Continental Tavern as well. You get a chance, go over there. If you can't make it to the game, watch the ball game. You got one away this week, but of course, you know, if you're going to make it there, it's not a big jaunt up to Plymouth White Marsh on the Turnpike. If not, go to the Continental Tavern and enjoy it there. Well, Coach, when it comes down to the defense, let's talk about your defense a little bit and how you feel, you know, they came around. You had guys back and you had to use some of them on the offensive side this year, but your thoughts about maybe how you graded the defense in that first game?
Well, I think we played better in the second half than the first half. I thought the first series or so we had trouble kind of like, and it usually happens with teams that run the veer, that style. You kind of have to, like, it's tough to duplicate the speed at which they're executing at practice the way, you know, with your scout team. So we had to catch up to that a little bit. We had some guys playing their first games, you know, in new spots or the first games altogether for us. So some of them really, I thought, did a nice job. Others perhaps didn't do as good of a job, but maybe I think all of them, when it came to the second half, stepped their play up, and you know, so it's a good learning experience and it moves us on to the next game.
I think really when I looked at the second half of that ball game, because I saw it from a couple of your guys, Jeremiah Wells was one of them, Lichtenstein was another one, that they seemed to play, you know, that triple option better in the second half. Something you did or told them at halftime?
Well, I mean, you know, I know Coach McShane, the defensive coordinator, Dan McShane, was talking to him and basically saying, you know, a lot of it was just like not sealing fast enough. You know, getting pushed back if you're a defensive tackle, you know, getting pushed back, cutting off linebackers, things of that nature. Things that, you know, if you're doing what you should do, and what we started doing in the second half. Yeah, so we did some, it wasn't so much adjusting as opposed to, you know, emphasizing what our basic fundamentals are. I will say we did some adjusting though on the outside. I know we moved our outside linebackers who usually are a little bit wider than the standard what you would see out of a 4-4. Rock was doing a real nice job of finding the seam right off the edge of it, and the quarterback was doing a really good job of keeping it tight enough to the D end, where the D end had to play the fullback, but enabling himself to get outside, where he was tight, and the outside backers were late getting to him. So we kind of cut them down in the second half, their splits.
Well, it certainly was, a good second half of play, because as it turned out, no one scored in that second half. And of course, the biggest thing of all was Pennsbury with that goal line stand at the end of the first half of play to be able to get to that point. When it comes down to the first game of the year, how are we as far as that goes when you take a look at how the guys came out of the game? Everybody healthy and ready to go?
Yeah, we seem to be all healthy, ready to go for this week. So we'll just, we know we have to execute better. We have to bring the same type. I was pleased, like I said, with the physicality for the most part. I thought it was a really hard physical game on both sides. I think, both teams came out and hit really well for a week one. And but now, we have to obviously clean up some of the technique and some of the execution.
I think one of the guys who really, we had him on after the ball game, was Chris Ruprecht.
Mm-hmm.
I think he came in there. I mentioned about the fact that he really was running hard, and he was really maybe only getting 4 and 5 at some times, but getting it when you needed it. And not only that, he's a bruising back who really, got you some tough yards and made it over 100 for himself for the game.
Yeah, Chris ran very hard. I mean, he is a physical player. I mean, he's a little bit different style than maybe some of the fullbacks we've had in the past, who maybe shiftier, kind of quick kids. But Chris has good speed, and he's got good power. And obviously, he doesn't mind getting physical in there.
Yeah, I know. When the other one we had on after the ball game was your son, Luke, and Luke had a tremendous ball game. I just look at it, and Luke seems to be, around the ball. He may be a linebacker, but at times where he makes a tackle, you think, how did he get over there? But the thing is, he has a nose for the football.
Yeah, Luke's well. He's been playing it long enough. He should.
Yeah.
But he's done a really nice job for us as well on both sides of the ball.
And I'll tell you what, maybe the toughest hit I've seen in a long, long time was Rob Daly, who really, squared up on a guy who was looking out in the flat to take a pass, and boy, the quarterback set him up just right. He came from 10 yards back, and that was one of the hardest pops I've seen in a wide open in a long time.
That was a good pop, really good hit, and what was nice about it too, it was totally legal. Rob used his shoulder, he hit him in the torso. It was a clean, hard football tackle, which was really good to see.
Yeah, I was happy too, as I mentioned, to see that the kid was able to get up, and he was okay when he went off, because I thought to myself, that was a jarring tackle if there ever was one. I want to let you know about the PRBL. Of course, the PRBL is somebody that has been around for a long time. The Pennsbury, they're going to be the team that takes you to maybe higher heights, because they start there with the Pennsbury Recreational Basketball League from kindergarten until the age of 12. You get an opportunity to find out all about it. Just go online to prblonline.com. That's right across prblonline.com, and you'll find out all about the PRBL. A lot of guys you see playing for this Pennsbury team, actually they came from there. We mentioned that during the course of basketball games, that they have so many that end up coming from the PRBL. And of course, you start at a young age, you learn how to play the ball game right, and they teach. Boy, they do a real nice job, because when you get them after that, they seem to be really ready to do a job for the coach. Well, look for it now online, prblonline.com, and get your child set for it as well. We're going to be back with more with Coach Snyder right after this.
Yo, Trenton and Levittown. This is the Geeter, the big boss with the big hot sauce, Jerry Blavitt, inviting you to join me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 5 as we bring back the memories at the top of the dial, 1490 AM, WBCB, and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com. And it's brought to you by Mako at 1460 Prospect Street, right off Alden Avenue in Ewing Township. Owned and operated by my main man, Matt Palmer.
Hi, this is Merrill Reese, and since 1986, McCaffrey Supermarket has been a real supermarket experience and a very proud member of our community. Through good times and bad times, Jim McCaffrey and his family have been there to assist our neighbors when they needed help, whether it's helping flood victims, raising funds for the American Cancer Society, or supporting the local Little League teams. You can count on McCaffrey's to be there. McCaffrey Supermarkets, 635 Heacock Road in Yardley in the village of Newtown, at 2890 South Eagle Road, and also in Princeton and West Windsor.
Peruzzi Nissan is the home of the 3495 Pennsylvania State Inspection and Admission and is your full-service automotive facility for all makes and models, regardless of where you purchased your car. Air conditioner tune-up for just $79.95 at Peruzzi Nissan. Buy 3 tires at Peruzzi Nissan and get the 4th one free, plus free alignment checks. Have your car looking showroom new with a value detail package for just $64.95 and a full detail package for only $179.95. Peruzzi Nissan Service, Business Route 1, Fairless Hills, where our business is you.
Of course, the team they take on this week will be on the road, and that's going to be against the LaSalle Explorers. And LaSalle, of course, coming in here, having won their opening game against North Penn by the score of 24-12. North Penn actually was playing well enough to be in that ball game. And just like their coach said, they made some miscues, mental miscues maybe, that hurt them in the course of the ball game. But that really wasn't a bad ball game between those two.
Yeah, I watched the game, and it was fairly even played. If you look at what LaSalle was able to do, they had a long touchdown pass at the end of the half. They had a long run before that. Well, I'll tell you what,
the kickoff.
Yeah, the kickoff, what came right after North Penn had just scored it in the beginning of the 4th quarter to make it 17-12. They kicked the ball off. LaSalle took it back. So, obviously, I think, big plays are part of the game, but if you can minimize those and you just go where the two teams were back and forth, it was a fairly even game.
One of the things I mentioned about LaSalle, of course, Drew Gordon's not there anymore. They have a new coach this year, but the coach has been there for a number of years. I think it's like 34 years he's been around then. Steinmetz is going to be coaching him this year. The biggest thing, especially when Drew was there, and I think they still do that, is they like to take their shots. They'll take a lot of shots in the course of the ball game to go deep and try to get one-on-ones.
Yeah, they will, and they have some pretty skilled athletes who will go down the field and get it. They got a quarterback, tall kid, big arm. They got a receiver who can get down the field. So they have the skilled kids to kind of pull off those types of things. So we'll have to limit it. We'll have to limit that, and we'll have to make sure we're running the ball effectively, controlling the clock, all those types of things.
When you take a look at them, and you had a chance to watch them probably on film, you had other guys out there scouting them. When you take a look at them, where did they really, when you look at, say, hey, this is an area we got to be worried about because this is a strong suit?
Well, I think the running back is really solid. He's a kid, I think, who transferred in from Chestnut Hill Academy. Very skilled kid, good ball player. He's probably the guy you have to, from on a down-to-down basis, worry about and make sure you stop him. But like I said, they have other guys, the receiver who caught the ball for the long touchdown and also returned the kickoff. So he's a guy you got to keep your eyes on as well. But again, I think it's more, it's the big plays.
Yeah, and it is big plays for them. They've been known for that in the past, and of course, they try to do it again this season. One of the big things, of course, is that they normally have a really good line, both on offense and defense.
Yeah, they do. They are solid. They got good size on their line. But I think with our quickness up front and and some of the guys we have on the offensive line, I think we can match them up pretty good.
Well, we're going to be looking, of course, for that ball game to where you're going to see a little bit different style than what you saw. Certainly a big different style than what you saw against the Council Rock South Ball Club. This is one that's going to be pretty well a wide open offense for the Explorers, for this ball club. They like to run it, they like to spread it, and they like to throw it. And of course they like to throw it deep every once in a while, maybe more than the average team would want to do that, but that's been in their book for years, so they're about to do it again, I'm sure, this time around. Looking at them all told, defensively, how do you think your offense can go against them? Where did you see them strong to where you say your offense could actually hit a spot where they can use as a team that can move the ball on them?
Well, I think that, it more gets down to us executing on our side of the ball. We know they're going to have some decent-sized kids on their defense, but I feel like if we're clicking, we can hold our own in there with them, and again, it's going to come down to not turning the ball over, not making mental errors, not dropping snaps, things like that. We have to clean up those things. If we do that, I feel like we can hang in there. We're going to be able to run the ball obviously effectively to win any game, and so hopefully we can do that.
All right, we're going to be back with more with Galen Snyder. I want to tell you a little bit here as well about Aria Health. Aria Health, of course, located right here in Lower Bucks County on Oxford Valley Road. Well, they're one that is ready to serve you when you really are in a time of need. And Aria Health has been doing a great job since their location there and taking on patients and making sure they rehab okay and get out and be healthy again. Aria Health is one of our sponsors throughout the course of this season, and of course they do a great job for you as they do for us. So when you want to go somewhere or you feel that, hey, the place that I should go if I'm going to get really good health care, go to Aria Health if you feel you're in time of need, because they're to take care of you there. And of course, we're going to be back and we're going to talk a little bit more about the offensive side of the ball for Pennsbury coming up after these messages.
The Gator, Jerry Blavitt here, to tell you to tune us in every weekday afternoon from 3 to 5 p.m. right here at WBCB 1490 AM and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com. And it's brought to you by the Italian People Bakery and the deli at 63 Butler Street in the Chambersburg section of Trenton, and also in Levittown at Woodburn and Oxford Valley Roads, and where all baking is done on the premises at both stores.
Achieving what you want demands the right game plan. When you team up with PNC, you get the tools and know-how you need to get where you want to go. Whether it's buying a new home, sending your kids off to college, or retiring the way you want, PNC is here ready to help you achieve your financial goals. To discover all the ways PNC can help, stop by any branch or visit PNC.com. PNC for the achiever in you. PNC Bank, member FDIC. I'm Merrill Reese to tell you about our good friends at the Revere Ristorante Italiano in nearby Ewing Township at 802 River Road. I can tell you that from South Philadelphia to New York's Mulberry Street, there's no better Italian cuisine than that served at the Revere. Start your meal with one of their great appetizers or salads. Entrees include outstanding veal dishes, fresh seafood daily, excellent steaks and chops, homemade pasta dishes, daily specials, and much more. You can also enjoy their bar area, where on most weekends, entertainment is offered. The Revere also does off-premise catering and can accommodate private parties for any affair, including business functions. Call the Revere Ristorante Italiano for more information and reservations at 609-882-6365. 882-6365. The Revere Ristorante Italiano open Monday through Friday for lunch and 7 days for dinner at 802 River Road, right off the Wilbertha Road exit on Route 29 in nearby Ewing Township.
And I'm back again, Vince Reed, along with Galen Snyder, the head coach of the Pennsbury Falcons, as they go into week number 2. 1-0 going into the second game of the non-league part of the season, where they take on the Explorers of LaSalle. That, of course, is going to be coming up shortly from Plymouth Whitemarsh High School. And, of course, Plymouth Whitemarsh a few years ago fixed up the stadium, a new program there when it comes to the stadium. And also, of course, they have the artificial surface. Nice place to watch a ball game, and that's what LaSalle calls home for the most part this year. And they've been now since Plymouth Whitemarsh has been up and ready to go with that new facility. And we're looking forward to a good game coming up this week. One of the things we want to talk about a little bit is some of the guys got a chance to play there last week, Coach, that maybe didn't play a lot but got into the ball game later on, and I think they kind of showed that, you know, we might be seeing more of them. And one of them is Zeke Kershaw, was the little guy who, of course, went 24 yards for a TD untouched on the outside. And I noticed a couple of times, and was pointed out, of course, upstairs by Marty Reed, my sidekick there, that he should have cut in maybe a couple of times, but he's young. I said he'll learn that where it is, but he feels he's got enough speed like he did, especially when you take the ball and you go outside and there's nobody around. He had to feel good about that.
Well, Marty's right, though. You know, in the one instance where he took the ball to the outside,
Yeah.
It just was one of those things. I think Rock, you know, hadn't adjusted properly to the play, and but the play that, you know, we're referring to after that, all the plays, you know, he's got to find an inside seam and take it. But like you said, it was his first time playing, you know, varsity competition, and which is a big step up from JV. And you know, and Zeke's got some abilities and everything, so it was a big step up, and you know, overall it was a positive. He did a good job with it.
And I thought it was nice to see later on in the ball game too. We saw Dalton Hose back in the lineup, and I thought that was nice to see him get back in there.
Yeah, well, Dalton played defense for us, and you know, towards the end of the game when it really got tight, you know, we wanted to get him out there and get him some carries. And think you'll see him get a few more carries here as we go.
And Mike Alley, of course, as we said, forget about that. That should not be a situation to worry too much about, those snaps from center that were bobbled there and there. But Mike Alley, for the most part, had himself a nice game for you.
He did. Well, I mean, Mike ran the ball well, which was good to see. You know, we were able to open up the keeper, and you know, he did a real nice job there. And I think Mike, you know, I think he's going to come back with a stronger game, even stronger game this week, and from here on out. And you know, I think I'm looking forward to it.
I think also Andrew McFarlane got into the ball game a little bit there, Quentin Davis, and there's a couple of guys that I saw you shuffled in every now and then.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit more of it. You know, we're kind of getting a feel. It's funny, you know, you really, it takes a little bit to really find a feel of what your team is like this year. You know, obviously there's a base, there's a foundation at which we put the kids into, but then based upon that and based upon what they can do for us, you know, things move around a little bit. You know, you got to kind of find your way, find what works for you. It's funny, I just told the kids in practice about 2006, you know, our great 2016, that, you know, we went out the first week of the season and we played Archbishop Ryan, and who always played his stuff, and Ryan ended up with, I don't know what they had that year, 2-3 wins on the season. Yeah. But they were right there with them, you know, and matter of fact, our only offensive touchdown was an interception return by Dan Johnson. And then C.J. Mark ended up kicking a field goal at the end. We ended up winning 10-7. And who'd have thought, based on that performance, that, you know, we'd end up 13-2. But that's what happened, you know. And the following week, we kind of started using Fagan a little bit more as a primary back, and then putting him in the eye, and using C.J. Mark a little bit more wing, and, you know, and we found our way. So my point being, every team, you got to find, you know, really what works for you, and so we're in that process, and we're getting closer.
Well, offensively too, you have a couple of guys on the outside that certainly have done a job for you in the past, and their season. Rob Daly, of course, the split end for the most part, and then of course he once in a while will come into the backfield, and Vinny Radimus, who also at the tight end position. These two guys seem to give you a lot and help because of the fact that they have the experience, and you count on them to do their jobs.
Right, and I thought, and Vinny in particular really blocked well. And he did a real nice job opening up some of those keepers for Michael, and Vinny played real solid.
When you take a look at the line, you looked it over. I know you always look it over on Sunday and take a look at the film. Any of the linemen that kind of stood out doing some nice blocking?
I mean, I thought a lot of them, it wasn't bad overall. You know, I thought Maurice Dukes had a strong game, you know, the big fella. Yeah. And like I said, I think Radimus and I think Nick Paragano was pretty solid too. Well,
we're going to be back with Coach here in a moment. I want to tell you, of course, about the PRBL, the Pennsbury, which Recreational Basketball League that stands for. And of course, they're getting ready for another good season. They'll take children from kindergarten up to 12th grade, and they'll have you have an opportunity to send them there and really gain a nice experience. Whether they want to go on to play basketball or not, they'll get a nice education there. They'll get a chance to enjoy, of course, everyone else there who's playing as well. And they have a lot of them that go on from there and, of course, eventually play on high school teams as well, and a lot of them here at Pennsbury, of course. And another one, of course, one of our sponsors today is, of course, the Continental Tavern, located in Yardley. Don't forget the Continental Tavern, a place to go before or after the game, and now even during the game, because the Continental Tavern there in the heart of Yardley is one that streams all the Pennsbury ball games. You can watch them live and listen to the game at the same time, because they'll have it on their TVs beginning at 7 o'clock on Fridays, and Pennsbury's games are all on Fridays. And of course, Aria Health, one of our sponsors here as well. They're there for you in your time of need. We'll be back to wrap up the program here today with Galen Snyder right after this.
Oh, the corner kick's right to Chris. He's got a shot. Oh, no.
It happens fast, so we'll treat you fast. Introducing Rothman Orthopedic Urgent Care, where you're seen without an appointment by a Rothman orthopedic specialist. Fast, any day of the week.
Okay. Easy with his leg.
Rothman Orthopedic Urgent Care, now in Marlton, New Jersey, with more locations to come. It happens fast, we'll treat you fast. Rothman Orthopedic Urgent Care. See RothmanInstitute.com.
Don't forget, if you miss any of your local high school sports action, you can read all about it in tomorrow's edition of the Trentonian. For your complete local and national news 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian. or online at thetrentonian.com. The only newspaper serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer County 7 days a week. It's the Trentonian.
Well, Coach, one of the things that, is mentioned a lot, I know we mention it just about every year, I do anyway, is the fact that there's such progress made between Game 1 and Game 2. And undoubtedly, from what you saw in Game 1, you know that, you're looking for that progress with this ball club.
Right. And we're not that far away, to be honest with you. I mean, I think a lot of our problems, from an offensive standpoint, we can solve them by getting a snap, from center. That was an issue for us early in the game that slowed us down greatly, and I think we will get better. I mean, obviously at that and other aspects. So I think, overall, again, we had some new players on defense, and they'll get better. And moving forward, I think we'll just keep getting better.
I think one of the biggest things that because it's worked out for you very well, is the fact that you do play a tough non-league schedule the first 3 games of the year, and that gets you ready, of course, for the league as it did a year ago.
Yeah, I believe so. Especially this year, we added LaSalle into the mix. And,
right.
They're a Catholic League powerhouse. So they're going to have all kinds of talent on the field, and it's a great opportunity for our kids to go out there and show everybody what we have. And
of course, the week after that, you're going to have another local Newtown Ball Club, Council Rock North, and Brandon McElwain. And of course, he can put it up, he can light it up. The biggest thing was him, of course, in his first game this year, is that they also lit up his defense, so that didn't help him too much. But it gives you an opportunity to really go against 3 strong teams, and everything is a little different about all 3 of those.
Yes, well, obviously Rock South's completely different as far as like their offense and whatnot. And LaSalle's going to be a really talented team, and then of course when you go to week 3, you got McElwain, who's a tremendous player. And so it gives us a little work, gets us ready for the league, no doubt.
And we're getting ready for the second game of the season so far. Pennsbury coming in at 1-0. LaSalle also with a 1-0. This, of course, is going to be at Plymouth White Marsh High School for the ball game here tonight. We'll go to that in just a few minutes. Want to let you know, of course, when it comes down to it, of course, this is part of the program we do for you from 6 to 7 to give you information here. And, of course, we also get you set to get out to the football field itself for the kickoff coming up at 7 o'clock. For the Galen Snyder Show, I'm Vince Reed.